In yoga classes, there are some movements that we do over and over and over and over. Well, is this safe? The short answer is, of course, it depends. The first thing you need to know about yoga in order to keep yourself safe is that your attention should always be in your body and feeling what you're feeling and the sensations going on in your body as you perform each pose. And then simply listen to those sensations. Run away from pain. Discomfort can be okay because we can build strength and mobility. But pain is always bad. I love the quote that poses are either medicine or poison depending on the way we use them. Well, if you take too much of any medicine, it becomes poison, so we have to be careful about repeated movements. I'd like to give you two movements that are very common in yoga classes that you should be really careful about. Here's the first one. Now the real question is, can you tell what I'm doing wrong? Well, the real answer is, I shouldn't do this at all. Standing forward fold puts a ton of tension on your lower back, and so we need to be careful about it. The cure is that whenever you standing forward fold, you should bend your legs deeply, and then you forward fold. I had a yoga teacher that used to say, make sure your chin goes past your knees. And then from there, if you want to go ahead and try to extend your legs, try to extend them, but you don't go into pain, only discomfort. Like as soon as it gets tight in the back of the legs, well, we already have tightness in the lower back as well. You just don't feel it. So stop there. There's an experiment you could do with me to feel this. Go ahead and take a seated forward fold. So send your legs out in front of you. Sit super tall, so it's like an L. You get a lot of engagement in the core. It's not a passive pose. And then keep your back totally straight and go ahead and hinge forward. Do you see that, like, you basically hinge almost nothing and I already have tightness in the back of the legs? Well, that tightness in the back of the legs continues through the mechanics of the body to the lower back. And so when you feel how tight that is in the back of the legs, that's the same tightness that you're putting into your lower back. So you need to be really careful about it. And again, if you just bend the legs, then it's much easier to go ahead and keep that straight back and lean forward. And so we can get that same engagement, but protecting our lower back a lot better. There's another replacement for standing forward fold that I like even better. Whenever your class goes into a full standing forward fold, you can always just come to a half standing forward fold. So you're super engaged in the core in order to hold in the organs, and then you can use your hands for support and just go ahead and you get a ton of tightness, that same stretch in the back of the legs, but I don't get the same danger in my back. Here's another common one. Can you tell what I'm doing wrong in this pose? In yoga, we call this salabhasana. It is locust pose, and it's meant to strengthen the back, but what I'm really doing wrong here is that I shouldn't do this pose at all. Same thing for Supermans that are really common, we just shouldn't be doing them. What physical therapists have learned in the last decades is that it puts a ton of pressure on the lower back. So if you want to strengthen the lower back, a much better pose is bird dog pose. From all fours, as you exhale, go ahead and send one leg back. As you inhale, bring the opposite arm forward. And you can feel the strengthening in the back. Like I feel the engagement strongly right there, and that's the whole goal. If your goal is not strengthening in the back, but it's actually stretching, there's another pose you can also do that's better. This is called Sphinx pose, and the key is just to keep your shoulders wide and your chest opening forward. And from there we get a nice stretch going through the thoracic spine. So if your goal is flexibility, then this is a good option. And since we're already here, another pose to be very careful about is cobra. The problem that people have, you could experiment with this. Leave your legs totally flaccid because people forget that it's cobra pose and they don't have a cobra tail. And so then with it flaccid, be really careful and gentle on your back. And if you push up a bit and then you feel your lower back is totally unsupported. And so that can be super dangerous, especially with lots of repetitions. Instead, come down. Firm up that cobra tail. You have to really lengthen your legs, get strong in your butt, and then when you have a strong cobra tail, then go ahead and inhale up, open the chest, shoulders wide, and as you push up into cobra, you can feel your lower back is totally supported. It's kind of locked in place, but it's all through that engagement of that tail. Yoga can be super safe and a great part of an exercise program to keep you healthy into old age. And I hope these instructions help you practice in a safe way so that you can avoid injury and grow old well. If this is interesting, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. And if you'd like to see what a beginner yoga sequence looks like, I got one coming up here. This is the Stoic Yogi, out.